Word going around is that Mike Tyson, the legendary boxing champ known for his no-nonsense attitude, has allegedly shared some shocking details about what went down at Sean Diddy Combs' infamous freak-off parties. You may have heard whispers about these parties before, but Tyson's alleged insights have cast an entirely new light on these controversial gatherings, painting a picture that is far more unsettling than the glitzy, glamorous image these events once projected. And let's be real, when Mike Tyson, of all people, feels disgusted by something, it makes you wonder just how far things really went. These freak-off parties, as the rumors have it, weren't just your average, run-of-the-mill celebrity bashes. People who have supposedly been to these events have allegedly described them as lavish, extravagant, and, to put it lightly, unorthodox. Now, this isn't just about wild dancing or drinking. The stories coming from the underground world of these parties reportedly cross over into something much more intense and, according to Tyson, allegedly dark. And while these rumors have been circulating for years, Tyson's alleged testimony adds a whole new dimension to the conversation. Tyson and Diddy have apparently known each other for decades, crossing paths many times in the whirlwind of the entertainment and sports industries. But according to Tyson's alleged version of events, things went from lighthearted fun to something far more disturbing at these gatherings. What Tyson allegedly saw and experienced reportedly left him disgusted. And it's this alleged disgust that has been making the rounds lately, sparking fresh rumors about just how far Diddy's infamous parties allegedly went. To hear it from Tyson, the party started off like any other celebrity gathering. There was music, there were drinks, and the guest list apparently boasted some of the most recognizable faces in entertainment, sports, and music industry. These weren't just small-scale get-togethers. These were massive, invite-only events that reportedly catered to the rich and famous. But allegedly, the vibe began to shift as the night wore on. According to the rumors, which at the moment are not confirmed, what may have started as a celebration soon took on an unsettling edge, with activities taking place that allegedly made even seasoned partygoers like himself uncomfortable. It's rumored that the excess on display at these parties was almost unbelievable. There were supposedly catered banquets overflowing with gourmet food, bars stocked with the finest liquor, and lavish accommodations designed to impress even the most high-profile attendees. But while the outward trappings of luxury were on full display, people sensed something else lurking beneath the surface. A darker undercurrent that allegedly became more and more apparent as the night progressed. Tyson allegedly saw things that not only disturbed him, but made him question why he had ever been invited in the first place. According to experts' alleged testimony, there was an atmosphere of pressure and manipulation, with some people seemingly coerced into participating in activities that left people speechless. These were not just your everyday party antics, according to Tyson. Allegedly, there was a sense that boundaries were being pushed, and not in a good way. Tyson is someone who's been through a lot in his life, both in and out of the ring. He's seen the highs and lows of fame and fortune, and he's no stranger to the darker sides of celebrity culture. But even Tyson apparently was caught off guard by the kind of things he supposedly witnessed at Diddy's parties. From what he's reportedly said, the atmosphere allegedly shifted from a fun, carefree event to something more sinister as the night went on. People who arrived looking glamorous and ready to have a good time allegedly began to take on a different energy, with the party allegedly morphing into something far more intense and far less pleasant. Allegedly, what people found most disturbing was not just the individual actions of certain guests, but the overall atmosphere of the events. From what he's reportedly said, the entire night seemed to be designed to create a sense of indulgence and excess, but apparently not in a good way. There was supposedly an almost oppressive air of expectation, with some guests allegedly being pressured into going along with things they may not have been entirely comfortable with. Now, the rumors haven't gone into explicit detail about every single thing that happened at these parties. The implications of his disgust are enough to make people wonder just how deep the rabbit hole goes. The rumors surrounding these events have ranged from the mildly shocking to the downright scandalous, with some sources even suggesting that the freak-off parties allegedly had a reputation for crossing legal and moral boundaries. Allegedly, Diddy himself has never confirmed or denied the full extent of these claims.
Tupac, when he passed away, I was so curious. I said, what happened to this guy? Who was behind it? You know, the whole thing with the fight, you know, he's at your fight. He's going to get to the fight. I think you guys were supposed to spend some time together. And then I interviewed Greg Kading. And if you know who Greg Kading is, Greg Kading, are you familiar with Greg Kading?
No.
Greg Kading, if you can pull up his Wikipedia, Greg Kading is the guy that... he's the guy that was doing the investigation on Tupac.
Yeah, I remember it.
Okay, so
they had a little television show about this.
Yes, you're right, absolutely. And he was known as the multi-law enforcement task force that investigated the murders of rap stars Tupac and Biggie. That's the Wikipedia story about him, right? So I said, so who was really behind this? So in the video, when I interview him, you know how somebody's trying to arrest him? Like if you've seen the movie American Gangster and they got these pictures. Is this the guy at the top? Is this the guy? So I have 50 different pictures with magnets, and he's putting these things up on. If you go to the video, you'll see how I set it up. Put Greg Kading by David. And I said, who is really the guy behind it? He says, well, we first thought it was this. Then we first thought it was that. And we first thought it was this. And everything's going. Then at the end, the conclusion, after multiple conversations with him and different people, it came down to Biggie. And to me, there's so many right there. If you can just zoom in, that's the way we had it. So we're kind of going back and forth to see who was behind the guys that killed Biggie, Tupac, Easy. I'm a hip hop guy. I grew up to all this stuff with NWA. This is my, like, you know, Straight Outta Compton was a movie I watched God knows how many times because I listened to all of that stuff. I'm an LA kid. So why is it that so many people in music and Hollywood fear this guy, Diddy, as if he's untouchable, and even the...
Well, Sugar Diddy.
Diddy, not Diddy, not Suge.
You said Biggie, but you meant.
I'm sorry, I meant
Diddy,
to say
yeah.
Diddy, not Biggie.
Well,
Diddy.
if you punch in on the picture here, you see Diddy, you see Suge Knight, and then a lot of their cohorts down there, but Tupac and Biggie at the top, as you were, Pat.
Yeah. So what is it? I mean, everybody's in there. So what is it with Diddy that so many? T.I. called him out. 50 Cent said one time on Charlamagne God's podcast, you know, Breakfast
Club.
He says one time Diddy said, hey, let me go buy you some clothes. Let me take you shopping. He's like, well, you want to take me shopping? What are you talking about? So T.I. called him out. 50 called him out. But some people are afraid. What do you know about? Because some people are talking about there's Diddy involvement with Jamie and something happened because he was calling him out for some of the parties he was putting up. Is there anything you have opinions on Diddy? Have you had any experiences with Diddy?
No, just I knew him for a long time.
Got it. And with you, he was chill. He was good. He was
Awesome guy.
Yeah.
I knew him before he was Diddy. And I knew him for a long time. When I first became champ, I knew him. I remember him. He used to have crates when he used to have my after parties and stuff. Also when they were throwing parties. I remember
This
him.
is when he was the CEO, founder of Bad Boy.
No, I don't think he was Bad Boy yet. No, he
Really?
wasn't him. Damon Dash and all those guys. They weren't on yet. I was like the first street guy that really got on. You know, I'm talking about the guy doing crime in the streets that became a television guy, and everyone knew he was a celebrity, had fancy cars. I was the first.
This is all in Brooklyn.
I'm the first of our generation of that crew. You know, the street hustlers that really blew up like that.
And you guys all knew each other.
Yeah,
It's the same era.
Listen, this young lady that works for my company, and she started saying names to people I remember when I was 11, 12 years old. And it baffles me that you think you got away from these people. You'll never see them again. You knew them when you were at the worst of your level or heard about them. And you're not the only one God had his hand on. These guys made them successful too. And you have to know them and see them at this level of the game. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, it's really, you're almost like proud in a way when you see them. You know what they experienced in life. And now they became respectable citizens.
I guess it's how you're in a class of 82 or a class of 90, whatever. You're all coming up. You kind of seen who made it from your class. I guess that's how to see it when you're coming up from the streets.
Yeah.
At the same era. Who else were the guys that during that time that made it big out of all of you?
Listen, there were some rappers that people didn't know about that made it real big, and not just from rapping, but from writing. And it's just, listen, I come from Brownsville, Brooklyn, very competitive. You know, normally either you succeed, probably 60% of the people don't have their high school diploma. It might be more. But it's just a school, it's just a neighborhood for people that normally fail. It's just a failing. If you don't have sports, you're not a lawyer or whatever, you're not gonna make it, you're not gonna do well. You know, and it's very competitive, very dog eat dog. People who are your friends at one time, next thing you know, they turned on you. Come over to the house, I need to do something for me, man. Or they go over your house and they kill you and rob your house for your drugs and stuff. These are people you was in a sandbox with. When the drug game,
Michael Francis is nodding over here because he knows this.
When the drug game started in the early 80s, you know, when that started, the people that you were robbing with, your friends with and everything, next thing you know, you got different gangs and you shoot. All these gangs, we all grew up together. All the people in his gang, all the people in the gang over here, some of them are related, and now they're killing each other. We were all friends, we grew up together, we used to rob and steal together, go to shopping together with the robbing money, smoke our weed, drinking together when we were kids. And next thing you know, I went over to my house after I'm doing good in this boxing stuff. Wasn't champion, but almost. I was making money. So somebody gets shot, I go to the hospital to see him, and then somebody else got killed, so I go to the funeral to see him, but the guy that went to the hospital is the guy that killed my friend I'm going to the funeral for. I'm sure you understand. I'm at my friend's, I'm crying that my friend is in the hospital, he's shot, and next thing you know, I'm going to my friend's funeral, but he shot my friend. It's crazy, right?
When they did that raid, you understand, what they did was prior to the raid, they reviewed that civil lawsuit. And that civil lawsuit told, Cassie's civil lawsuit was LeRod had already did it. LeRod hadn't did his yet, did he? Did LeRod do his lawsuit before the raid or after the raid?
Oh, before.
Yeah, so what they did was they reviewed both of those civil lawsuits and found that there was some criminal activity in those lawsuits. We spoke that on Art of Dialogue. We spoke about that on your show. I said if they really wanted him, all they had to do was review those civil lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring him in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City. The mayor here take like 15 spoons of sugar in his coffee. You know, I think they're not telling the whole truth, is that because of the situation in Miami and the situation in California, and they closed the clubs like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or something like that, that Justin and Christian was bringing big vans of girls and people back to the mansion and giving parties and stuff like that. And a lot of those stuff were their parties. A lot of that shit was their parties. They wasn't always Puff parties. It was his son's parties.
Good point. They said some of these freakouts will last for days.
That's where they're gonna get them on the sex trafficking thing. especially like if he was traveling and doing it. That's where the sex trafficking come at. That you hiring sex workers to come and have sex with your girl, that's crazy. Then they have to bring those witnesses in there. That's gonna be something hard to prove. Unless Lil Rob or or Cassie state that was something that happened. That's how the prosecutor's gonna prove that. They got a ton of evidence that they gotta try to prove, bro. A lot of that that if you read it, it could be circumstantial, you know what I'm saying? But they gotta have witness to back it up. You just can't say that that happened based on somebody's lawsuit and what the words that they're saying. They have to have witnesses in there. And I think Puff lawyers is gonna be smart enough to attack that. If he was blackmailing people, especially people that work for him, see, this is what it's gonna get him at. See, people think that, those people work for him, or those people, if they was artists and they work for him, or they were engineers, or they anybody that worked for them and stuff like that, your boss cannot blackmail you to do nothing.
But the whispers have persisted for years, and Tyson's alleged testimony has only fueled the fire. Word has it that people expected a fun, lighthearted evening of partying, but what they got instead was an event that left them questioning the moral fabric of the people involved. Some sources have claimed that these parties were a way for certain individuals to assert their dominance and control over others, using their influence to allegedly manipulate the atmosphere to their advantage. According to reports, Tyson has allegedly suggested that the people behind these events, Diddy included, allegedly had an agenda beyond simply throwing a good party. Some have speculated that the Fr3ak parties were allegedly used as a way to manipulate or blackmail certain individuals, allegedly creating an atmosphere where people felt pressured to go along with things they might not have otherwise agreed to. But while Tyson has allegedly distanced himself from the Fr3ak parties, the rumors surrounding these events have continued to circulate. Allegedly, more and more people have come forward with their own stories about what supposedly went on behind closed doors at these gatherings. And the picture that's emerging is not a pretty one. For now, all we have are the rumors. But if Tyson's alleged disgust is anything to go by, the truth behind Diddy's Fr3ak parties might be far stranger than anyone could have imagined. Allegedly, the deeper you dig, the more unsettling the stories become. And it's clear that this is one Hollywood scandal that isn't going away anytime soon.